Tradwife trend became popular during the 2020s, but has been around for significantly longer than that. Tradwives are stay-at-home women who usually base their lifestyle on Christian ideals and take on traditional feminine gender roles, such as spending their days homemaking. It perfectly goes along with the typical 1950s housewife role that appears perfect, idyllic, and picturesque. However, this 2020s Tradwife movement has caused a whirlwind of controversy. Many critics and people online have claimed that this trend is problematic for romanticizing times when women were not allowed to work outside their homes, potentially setting back feminist movements. This argument especially stems from the idea that these Tradwives are believed to provide little to no income to their families, while their husbands are the breadwinners. They have no financial stability on their own. On top of that, critics have also claimed that the lifestyle is unrealistic and can only be attained if you are part of the upper class. The idea is that these women are pushing their lifestyle onto others, which could cause those of lesser incomes to feel the need to obtain this role even if they do not have the financial means to do so. Yet, even with all of these criticisms, Tradwives really aren't harmful.
Some women exist online and in life, just living life more traditionally than others, or not, and I think women should stop comparing and contrasting against them.
In fact, only the critics are making them seem harmful. In today's video, I will discuss how they are not problematic and the actual problems arising from this trend. Trigger warning, this video does mention domestic abuse later on. I will also give you an exact time to skip ahead whenever it comes, or if you would like, you can skip out this video entirely, which is completely understandable. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 800-799-7233. Please call this number if you or anyone you love needs help in this issue. Two of the most famous Tradwives are Nara Smith and Hannah Nealman from Ballerina Farm. Ironically, they never refer to themselves as Tradwives, but they do have all the same traits as one. They are wives to working men, have children, and are traditional homemakers. Yet, in an interview for the controversial Times article, Meet the Queen of the Tradwives and Her 8 Children by Megan Agnew, Nealman actually argues that she is not a Tradwife. She states, "I don't necessarily identify with it because we are traditional in the sense that it's a man and a woman, we have children, but I do feel like we're paving a lot of paths that haven't been paved before. So for me to have the label of a traditional woman, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I identify with that." While I do see Nealman's point with her argument, since she and her husband are CEOs and she competes in beauty pageants even just a couple of weeks after giving birth, there are still more aspects of her lifestyle that make her more traditional than not. Most women are not Mormon stay-at-home mothers with 8 children. However, that is not necessarily a bad thing. Similarly to Hannah Nealman, Nara Smith is a Mormon fashion model who takes on traditional feminine roles. Her TikTok videos depict her making many meals, snacks, and drinks, all entirely from scratch. From chicken nuggets, to Cheez-Its, to Coca-Cola, to chewing gum. Smith seems to know how to make it all. She too has faced significant criticism, with critics arguing that she is pushing for women to embrace traditional feminine roles by utilizing dark marketing tactics, when in reality she is just making videos of her taking care of her family and cooking. She too has never identified herself as a Tradwife, but she should not be villainized for taking on the same roles as one. Neither should Hannah Nealman. Smith has stated several times throughout her videos that cooking is her love language, to explain why she makes most of her items from scratch.
I wasn't aware that finding joy in cooking for my husband and kids would automatically mean that I just slave away in the kitchen. I don't have a job and I have a whole production team at my house making that happen. To clarify, none of that is true. I'm a working mom, juggling all kinds of hats and responsibilities. But cooking has always been a massive part of my life.
It is indeed unrealistic to achieve this for normal women, but Smith and Nealman are not normal women. Nara and her husband, Lucky Blue Smith, are famous fashion models who have worked within their craft since they were kids. As for Hannah Nealman and her husband, Daniel's father is a billionaire who owns the major airline JetBlue. As previously mentioned, Hannah and Daniel are also CEOs of their brand Ballerina Farm. They sell meat, baked goods, home goods, and more. All they make on their farm. Although these two women have unrealistic lifestyles, they come from wealthy backgrounds, which make it possible for them. They never promote the idea that all women need to have the same lifestyle as them and become a tradwife either. They simply have the means to take on the traditional feminine roles and make content from their lifestyle. Given that the rapid rise of TikTok allows people all over the world to display their lifestyle on the internet, traditional women should not be villainized for doing the same thing. This argument especially holds true when making content, which is another way for these women to make a profit. One of the many feminist trends that rose during the 2010s was the girl boss movement. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a girl boss is an ambitious and successful woman, especially a businesswoman or entrepreneur. All that is quite true, she is so much more than that. The girl boss was one who did anything to make it to the top, always looked chic, a symbolic combination of mother and businesswoman, and monetized anything she could to become even more successful. Many popular girl bosses in media include Miranda Priestly from The Devil Wears Prada, Tess McGill from Working Girl, and Jacqueline Carlisle in The Bold Type. Girl boss feminism was also a response to the #MeToo movement. While women were coming out about their experiences of sexual harassment, many of which were in the workspace, women rose to the top of their careers to reclaim their spaces and overpower any man who dared to sexually objectify them. They wanted to create work environments where women were finally praised for their deeds. However, these attempts to reclaim workspaces were primarily beneficial for white women. While the girl boss trend died out after receiving more critiques than praises, many women of color came out and expressed the racism they faced at their jobs while having white women bosses. According to an article from CNN, What the Fall of Girl Boss Reveals, many white girl bosses stepped down from their positions after receiving backlash for being racist towards their women of color employees. One of these female black employees stated that she was being paid $15,000 less than the two white coworkers who were doing the same job, and many other employees were even mistreating numerous black and brown employees. With the girl boss feminist movement becoming clear that it was favoring white women's needs, the trend died out. Yet, aspects of this movement still filtered into the tradwife trend. As previously mentioned, one of the characteristics of the girl boss was the monetization of various features of her life. The rise of social media during the 2010s enhanced their ability to do so, showing viewers everywhere how women can easily make a profit just by posting on the internet. Many tradwives, including Nara Smith and Hannah Nealman, upload content online that they can easily monetize to make money. They essentially took this aspect of girl boss feminism and revamped it for the traditional wife style. Upon my research, I could not find out if either of these women ever confirmed that they profit from their online content. However, each matches the qualifications needed, for TikTok at least, to monetize their content if they wanted to. They both have over 10,000 followers, upload minute-long videos, have more than 100,000 views, and are legal adults. Many other TikTok tradwives also meet these exact requirements. These women also work other jobs, with Smith being a model and Nealman co-running her ballerina farm brand. Other jobs can be obtained too. If these women want to make some extra money or build their resume while being homemakers, they can be writers or even small business owners, showcasing that being a tradwife does not necessarily mean being jobless. Many of the tradwives online do not tell other women that they need to have the same lifestyle as them. If anything, some of them acknowledge that it is not for everybody.
I've always wanted to be a young mom because growing up, my dad would always tell us that he regrets having kids later in life. So I took that advice, and it's one of the best decisions I could have made, and I know it's not for everyone.
I just want to live a more traditional, rooted life. There should be nothing wrong with that.
Of course, there are a few bad apples, as there are in any group, since some tradwives online are outright racist and sexist.
Men tend to be better people than us. Yeah, they really do. They tend to. No. They.
Just because some of the tradwives are like this does not necessarily mean that all women that identify as this are. The issue is not the tradwives. The problem, or at least one of them, is women not supporting other women's choices. An overarching theme of feminism, especially post-feminism, is the idea of women simply supporting other women through the notion of girl power. Many critics of the Tradwives accuse these women of going against the support. In reality, it is many of the critics who are going against these Tradwives that are actually not supporting this girl power notion. Many modern women do not want this lifestyle, but that does not mean it needs to be attacked. Likewise, healthy women's lifestyles outside of the Tradwives do not need to be attacked either. Another primary theme of current feminism is women should be allowed to make their own decisions. Thus, women should be allowed to choose to live a modern or a traditional life. Many critics of the Tradwife trend do not necessarily believe that women are the problem and are more concerned with the potential harm that can be done to them. Tradwives are known to submit to their husbands, and this dynamic does open the door to potential abuse. With the man of the house holding most of the money and receiving their wife's submission, it is certainly possible. However, just because a couple has this lifestyle does not automatically mean it will turn abusive, and dynamics outside of this circumstance can also unfortunately turn abusive just as easily. The Tradwives are not even promoting any sort of abuse either. Given that most of these women include Christian ideals into their lives, they are basing their submission on this biblical verse from the book of Ephesians from chapter 5, verses 22 to 25. Quote, "Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and is himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit in everything to their husbands. Husbands, love your wives, as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." End quote. Yes, women submitting to their husbands goes against many modern feminist ideals and causes Tradwives to face critique because they follow this idea. That does not mean these women should face negative repercussions for doing so. It is their life and their choice to make. If current feminists continue to attack Tradwives, then the unfortunate result could mean women becoming anti-feminist when trying to be a feminist. Given that popular media has a history of criticizing almost everything women do, it is no surprise that the same happened to the Tradwives. Almost everything we do is villainized. If you are a powerful woman, you're the villain of corporate America. If you wear lots of pink, you're dumb and were probably everyone's high school bully. If you are a girl going through puberty, a natural experience that everyone goes through, you're a monster. Don't get me wrong, I do often highly enjoy films and television shows that incorporate these tropes. However, there is no denying that the villainization of women and our traditional traits stems from at least some sort of internalized misogyny. This occurrence is usually never done purposefully. However, it is an ongoing issue feminism faces because this internalized misogyny is still ingrained into even the most hardcore feminists. A starting solution to correcting this behavior could easily be supporting healthy women's lifestyles rather than attacking them. Although Tradwives are sparking controversy in the media, they should not continue to be villainized. Just because some people do not wish to follow the same lifestyle does not mean these traditional women are problematic. They are just different than the modern woman. Both traditional and modern women are fine as they are, as long as neither is attacking other harmless groups. With the Tradwife arising after the girl boss era, it will be interesting to see the new feminine trends in the future. After all, the only apparent shared qualities of the girl boss and the Tradwife are the monetizations of their lives, and that these lifestyles are more easily obtained by the wealthy. The upcoming trends in women's media could easily be another opposing lifestyle to the Tradwife, or perhaps it could be something similar enough that will piggyback off of this current feminine phenomenon. Regardless, the women partaking in this trend should be supported, not villainized, as long as it is healthy and safe for women. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe so you can see more of my content in the future. God bless you and have a great day. Bye-bye.